Good evening. I have an important announcement to make about the state of affairs between the British and Argentine governments over the Falkland Islands dispute. We have now sought an immediate meeting of the Security Council on the grounds that there could be a situation which threatens international peace and security. There is mounting evidence that the Argentine armed forces are preparing to invade the Falkland Islands. In these circumstances, I think it is necessary to take certain precautionary measures here in Stanley. I have alerted the Royal Marines, and I ask now for all serving members, all active members of the Falkland Islands Defence Force to report to the drill hall as soon as possible. They will be on guard tonight at key points in the town. Schools will be closed tomorrow. The radio station will stay open until further notice. If the Security Council's urging to keep the peace is not heeded by the Argentine government, I expect to have to declare a state of emergency, perhaps before dawn tomorrow. I shall come on the air again as soon as I have anything to report, but in the meantime, I would urge you all to remain calm and to keep off the streets. Stay indoors, and please do not add to the troubles of the security services by making demonstrations or damaging Argentine property. This would play into their hands and simply provide them with the excuse they need to invade us. So please, do not take the law into your own hands. Let us show our visitors that we are responsible, law-abiding, but resolute citizens. I shall let you know as soon as I have anything further to report.
Good evening, everyone. This is Patrick Watt speaking, your broadcasting officer. As you've just heard His Excellency say, the situation here is rather serious at the moment, and in view of this, we have decided to keep the radio station open until further notice, and this means that we will continue with our normal programs this evening, and then at 10:30, instead of closing down, we will continue playing you some music, and perhaps we'll find some other programs for you to listen to. What we plan to do now for the remainder of the evening is to continue our service to you on 536 and 2370. We will be playing some music, and then on the hour we will join the BBC for the news broadcasts, and in case they have any up-to-date information. Thank you.
BBC World Service presents Radio News for you.
It has been a day of intense diplomatic discussions about the South Atlantic dispute between Britain and Argentina over the sovereignty of the Falkland Islands. The latest confrontation between the two countries on this long-standing issue has been sparked off by the landing of a group of Argentine salvage men in South Georgia, a Falkland Islands dependency. Britain says that this landing was illegal. Argentina rejects this view. Well, now British diplomats at the United Nations are saying there is an imminent danger of the Falkland Islands being invaded by Argentina. And a meeting of the Security Council is to take place shortly to discuss the crisis. From the United Nations, Keith Hemphill reports.
The initial dispute broke out 12 days ago in South Georgia, an island 800 miles to the east of the Falkland Islands colony. But Britain now believes that Argentinian forces are about to invade the main colony itself. In fact, Britain believes an invasion force has been on its way for some time. And although it has an armed icebreaker in the area, it has no substantial force close enough to repel a well-mounted invasion.
You're listening to the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station, and now here is His Excellency the Governor.
Good morning. As I speak, there is no indication that the Argentine Navy task force heading this way has changed course. Unless it does, we can expect it off Cape Pembroke by dawn. Now please, don't be inquisitive and go and see for yourselves. You will just get in the way. Stay indoors and we shall keep you informed by radio. That's all for now.
Well, I thought some of you may like to know just exactly how Stanley is at this present time, on the 2nd of April, at what is now 18 minutes past 1 in the morning. And we'll keep you informed, as the Governor said, with events as we get to know about them. We'll keep you in touch with the BBC bulletins, and in between times, of course, we've always got our music, so we're going to play a little bit more music for you now.
Greenwich Mean Time. BBC World Service, the news, read by Lawrence Reed Jones. Britain has told the United Nations it has evidence that Argentina is about to launch an invasion of the Falkland Islands. The United Nations Security Council has called on Britain and Argentina to refrain from the use or threat of force in their Falkland Islands dispute, and to continue the search for a diplomatic solution. The British ambassador, Anthony Parsons, said that Britain has evidence that Argentina was about to launch an invasion of the Falklands, and that the whole Argentine fleet was now at sea. The Argentine delegate, Mr. Eduardo Roca, said that Britain was overemphasizing the dispute as an excuse for aggression. He did not respond to the allegation of a possible invasion. In Argentina itself, the BBC Latin America correspondent said there were strong suggestions that preparations for an invasion had been made. He also says there is deep concern among the Falkland Islands' 1,800 inhabitants about Argentina's intentions.
You're listening to the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station, and now here is His Excellency the Governor.
Good morning. It is with the deepest regret that I have to report a complete lack of response from the Argentine government to the Security Council's call to refrain from the use of force against the Falkland Islands. As a last resort, and at our request, President Reagan spoke direct to President Galtieri a little while ago to urge restraint and to offer to send Vice President Bush to Argentina. Galtieri replied that he appreciated President Reagan's concern, but if the UK did not agree tonight to recognize Argentine sovereignty over the whole of the Falklands, with provision for transfer within the next few months, they would take whatever action was necessary. Argentina considered that it had full freedom to use force. The idea of a mission by Bush was rejected. Now, it is difficult to see what further steps we could take to deter the Argentines. I therefore have no alternative but to declare a state of emergency with immediate effect under the Emergency Powers Ordinance of 1939. Under these emergency powers, I can detain any person, authorize the entering of any premises, acquire any property, and issue such orders as I see fit. Now, I have no further news about the Argentine Navy Task Force, but may I just say that the morale of the Royal Marines and the FIDF is terrific, and it makes me proud to be their Commander-in-Chief. That's all for now. I'll report when anything has been observed.
You are back with the studio here again now. We will, of course, repeat his Governor's message in about 5 minutes' time.
So this is the Governor speaking. This is just to let you know that the first Argentine ships have been sighted in Port William, and one landing craft approaching the Narrows. Everything is under control. We're keeping them under surveillance. That is all for now. There have been one or two bangs at Moody Brook, but we consider that this is a diversion. And if we go off the air, the radio station will carry on. That's all for now. Hello, this is the Governor speaking. Those of you who are living in Stanley will have heard some shots, some confused shooting. We do not know yet what that's all about, but we have had sightings of an aircraft carrier and a destroyer in addition to the 3 other vessels that I mentioned earlier. It appears that the first vessel is attempting to come through the Narrows into the harbour and is probably heading for trying to get Government House. We'll keep you up to date for as long as we can here, and if we go off the air, the radio station will carry on. That's all for now.
Well, you're back with the station again, and as the Governor said, we will stay on as long as we can stay on, and I hope that's going to be for some time yet. Anyway, we've got plenty more music lined up, so we'll keep it spinning. This is Stanley, the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Station, calling. We've just had a message from His Excellency the Governor. Government House is now surrounded, and we've lost contact with him on the direct line, but we've got him by telephone. Sir, would you like to repeat what you just told me?
They got infiltrated a party behind us through the woods. They got very close to us, but they've now withdrawn.
Yes, carry on, sir.
It's only a matter of time before they regroup and come again. They haven't done much damage, and I think they've been shooting not to shoot at the men, but to get the vehicles. They've flattened the tires of a lot of the vehicles outside, and they've got 5 armoured personnel vehicles on the way from the Canache landed at York Bay. It's just a matter of time before they overrun us, but we'll see how long we can hang on anyway.
Sir, are you going to try and hang on and keep them back for as long as possible, or are you going to surrender?
We'll see. We're not surrendering. I'm resisting. If somebody's prepared to come in and talk to me from them, I'll have them in, but I'm not going out to talk to them or to surrender to them. We're staying put here, but we are pinned down. We can't move.
How did they get ashore, sir?
I don't know. They must have crept in from another bay that we didn't know of, because the first time we knew they were around was when they surrounded the power station and came down from Sappers Hill. And they blew up 1 or 2 bits at Moody Brook on that side. So they've infiltrated somewhere where we didn't know.
Has anyone been injured, sir, or shot?
We haven't had any casualties reported yet, thank goodness. I don't know what the sections are like out towards the beach and the airport, but here we're all right. There's not been any casualties immediately around Government House, but they're way superior in numbers. They must have 200 odd around us now.
Yes, sir. Do you know if any of their people have been shot at all, sir?
I don't know. I haven't had any reports that way, Patrick. No.
Right, sir. Well, obviously you're having a very harassing time there, and I'll leave you, sir, for now.
It's getting light. They've got a much more commanding position. We can't move from here without being shot at, because they're up above us behind.
Yes.
So I'm afraid it's just a matter of time, but well, we'll do what we can.
Right, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Well, there you heard the bad news, I'm afraid, to tell you that Government House, I'll just repeat what he said, that Government House is surrounded. They have the enemy, I think we can call them now, about 200, have attacked Government House. They're not trying to shoot anyone, it appears. They're trying to shoot vehicles and put vehicles out of action. And as the governor, you heard the governor, very breathless. He's obviously having a very difficult time there. And it appears very certain, I would say, that this enemy are trying to take over Government House. And it only seems a matter of time before somehow, I suppose, he will have to surrender. And anyway, we'll try and keep going for as long as we can. We don't know. There doesn't seem to be any loss of power here at the moment, and it seems as if they were trying to do something to the powerhouse. So I'm afraid it doesn't sound very good, but for people in Stanley, as you were told, please keep inside, don't venture out, because there has been a lot of gunfire, a tremendous amount of gunfire going on here, and I can hear it from the studio, and I'm certainly staying inside now. And there's been a lot of gunfire at the beginning, a lot of heavy bangs like mortar. I don't know what damage they have done around the area to Government House or anywhere else, but the small arms fire has been going on rapidly now for the last, I think, 35-40 minutes, very repeatedly. Lots of shouting going on outside. When I did poke my ear out to the door, I could hear lots of shouting as well. I wasn't sure of the language, whether it was Spanish being spoken or English being spoken. What else can I tell you? Well, daylight is coming in fast in Stanley now, of course, so it's probably going to make it a lot easier for them to come in. Well, that's my assessment of what the governor said, in case any of you didn't hear it very well from the telephone call. And if I have one or two facts wrong, well, I am sorry, because it's very hectic here at the moment. I will play a bit more music, I think, and then we'll see what comes up after that. I'm sorry if this sounds a bit disjointed, but I haven't had time to write anything down or record it or anything like that. But we'll try and keep you in touch as it goes along. I don't think it's much point in me carrying on talking to you now, because I really don't know any more what's happening, because in here I can't see what's going on or anything else. So we'll play a bit more music. Now, we've just had a call from Alistair Grieve, who lives up there on the top of Stanley, at the end there. Alistair, I understand that you've sighted some of the vehicles, have you?
No, I haven't sighted the vehicles back, but there's been some really heavy bangs. The whole place is shaking. It's a bit nerve-wracking to say the least. There's a lot of machine gun fire and fairly small arms fire as well. I had a quick look out through the curtains and all I could see was smoke, so I honestly haven't a clue what's happening. But every time something big goes bang, we feel that it shakes up here.
And where are you giving this report from, Ali? Are you standing up, sitting down, or what you're doing?
I'm lying on the floor, boy.
Yeah. Can you see if any of our chaps are defending at all? Are they returning any fire or anything like that? Can you see?
I can't see, but it was all happening. They were lying, you know, our house at the top here, they were lying on the opposite side of the road, in amongst the white grass and stuff there, but I can see nothing but smoke now, whether it's from their arms or from stuff that's been returned. I haven't a clue.
Yeah. Now, you haven't seen any of the vehicles at all yet, Ali?
No, I can see about 3 ships out in Port William from the window at the front here.
You can see 3 ships there, in Port William. What do they look like, Alistair?
Most of them I can just see the tops of masts. That's as much as I can see, I'm afraid.
Yeah, they're pretty big though, are they?
One of them certainly looks very, very big. Whether or not that's the carrier, I don't know.
When you were looking out the window just now, Alistair, you couldn't see any sign of the armoured vehicles?
No, but I was very cagey about looking back.
Right, I don't blame you.
Yeah.
You're right, keep inside, keep your head down, Ali. And if you see them passing, perhaps you give us a call. Thank you very much. Cheers. Well, there are, folks, that's another report. These are very much on-the-spot reports, and they're not official, remember that. These are reports that we're receiving from people coming in. Just a minute, there's somebody else ringing. Hello?
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Ronald the Chief Police Officer. Last night, before the commencement of the present hostilities, the Governor asked that people should stay at home. But only a few minutes ago, a somewhat bewildered elderly gentleman was expressing indignation that my men had dragged him off the street. He was sublimely on his way to work, and I'd be most grateful if people would heed the warnings they've been given and stay put in their own homes. It's much safer people will stay at home. So would you please heed the warning? It is not safe to walk the streets at the moment.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Lamb, and I'll just run through that again. Thank you. As you heard there, please don't go out, and people don't go to work. Children are not going to school, as you know, as you've been told, and don't go to work. Don't attempt to go to work anyone at this moment. Keep inside. That's the safest place to keep. Just a minute. Yes? 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 Just a minute. Yeah. Just a minute. We have Dr. Daniel on the phone. He's going to give us a report from the hospital. Yes, go ahead, Dr. Daniel, please.
This is Dr. Daniel at Government Hospital. We'd like people to know that all the patients and the residents and the staff are safe, and we're just preparing breakfast for them now. We've had no casualties at all, but most of the staff are now in the hospital, and we're quite ready to look after anyone that we need to. But I must stress there's been nobody hurt that we know of at all.
Right. Thank you very much, Dr. Daniel. Goodbye. Bye. Well, that is the reports that we've got for you at the moment, and we just hope it stays like that and nobody does get hurt. And I think we'll press on with a bit of music now until we hear something else again. It all seems very quiet here at the moment. I certainly can't hear anything. There was an isolated bang or two there about 10 minutes ago, but I can't hear anything else at this moment, so we'll carry on with a bit of music. Right, well, I have now His Excellency the Governor on the phone again. Could you give us the latest situation, please, sir?
Yes, it's quiet at the moment, but we're pinned down. We've been trying to move the people a bit further out from the perimeter of Government House, and every time anybody tries to move, they start shooting. So they've got us well and truly pinned down. But they're not trying to attack, so I think they're waiting for the armoured personnel vehicles to come. And then I think maybe they'll have another go.
Yeah, how much longer do you think you can hold out, sir?
Well, I mean, if they've got 30mm cannon on these armoured personnel carriers, so one or two shots of them and we'd be finished, I'm afraid.
Yes, sir.
But I'm hopeful that they'll send somebody in to talk.
And you'll talk to them, will you, sir?
But I'm not walking out. I'm not surrendering to the bloody arches, Patrick. Certainly not.
Fantastic. Well done, sir. Thank you. Bye. Bye. Well, you heard those brave words from the Governor, and we all echo those. I never thought they'd do a thing like this, I can tell you. I told everyone they wouldn't. Anyway, that's not the problem at the moment. The problem is that they're here. And as the Governor said, he's going to hang on as long as he can. Just another call. Hello? Yes, Alistair? Just a minute. We've got Alistair Grieve on the phone again with another report. Yes, go ahead, Ali.
Yeah, there's a chopper outside as well.
A chopper?
Yeah. Okay, where exactly is it, please? Yeah, it was coming up the harbour, but it seems to have disappeared. I thought I saw something a few minutes ago, but the armoured cars also seem to be moving up the road. I'm looking at rather an acute angle at them, and it's difficult to see, but it could be 5 or 6.
Any sign of any of these cannons the Governor thought they might have?
Well, all I can see, as I said before, when something arrives pretty close to here, the whole place shakes.
Yes.
So it's something relatively heavy.
Yes, it looks pretty big.
But it feels big, I haven't seen it.
No. And now, what about our troops, Alistair? Are they retreating back still?
They've gone, I'm afraid, Pat. They've moved out.
So it looks like the armoured cars are going to come right into Stanley and with no problems.
So far I can see that the lads have gone. There were 6 or 7 of them, and they appear to have left some heavy weapons lying about. So
yes.
the bazookas or things, I can still see them quite clearly from the window.
Yes.
But there's certainly no sign of the lads. So
No.
I think they've all got away.
Right. Okay, Alistair.
I'll keep you informed, Pat.
Yep. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Well, that's it at the moment. It looks like these armoured vehicles that we've been expecting are on their way now. They're opposite the cable and wireless transmitting station, which many of you will know where that is. And it looks like they're heading into town, and it would appear very much as if the group of Argentines who are surrounding Government House will probably be waiting now for them to arrive. And that, as the Governor said, if anyone moves around Government House or anything, they're taking a pot shot to keep them quiet. Ali Greaves back again. Ali, you've had a bit of a problem, I hear.
No, well, just as I rang through, there was one hell of a bang. The helicopter looks to be, like, I can see it, it's landed at the airport, and it looks to be like a big Sikorsky or something. It's a very big helicopter, and it's sitting on the runway at the airport. It's a white helicopter. I can see it with the glasses from the window.
This bang, Ali, that shook you up, could you see where it was directed to?
I'm not cluing, I'm not having a look either.
No, you stay down on the floor.
Yeah, see you, Pat.
Right, bye. Well, that's it. It looks really as if they're really coming in a big way now, I'm afraid, ladies and gentlemen. So we'll just have to carry on and do the best we can, and as the governor said, well, he's not going to give up that easily. We'll go back to music for a minute. There's another call coming in. Sorry, Malcolm, repeat that for me. You see a helicopter landed at the airport, you said?
Yeah, and there are a number of armoured vehicles up there, and there's still something happening up there. There's some fighting or something going on.
There's some exchange of fire there, is there?
Yeah. Well, we can see the smoke. We can't see anything else.
No. And what about how many of these flags can you see flying?
I can see two.
Two Argentine flags flying there.
Yeah, there's one. I think he's on the flagpole. The other's way up the top of the wireless mast.
Well, as we feared, it looks, Malcolm, as if they've got control of the airport.
Well, they're still fighting it out, I think. There's a lot of smoke blowing around down there.
Yes. Okay, Malcolm.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Well, we've had confirmation that there are 4 or 5 vehicles, another 4 or 5 vehicles moving on the airport, on the runway. This is in addition to the 3, 4 or 5 that are now seemingly proceeding up the airport road in towards Stanley. And the same person, Mrs. Patterson, reported that a very big helicopter just flew up Stanley Harbour. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be alarmed at the moment. We'll switch the music off because we understand that there's a message coming through from the Argentines, and we want to hear what it is. So we've just switched the music off for a moment.
Of the British colonial government of the Islas Malvinas. For the purpose of avoiding bloodshed and property damage among the population. We hope that you shall act prudently. Our concern is for the welfare and safety of the people of the Malvinas. It is a call
This is the Falkland Islands Broadcasting Studio. Well, I've been instructed by the Governor of the Falkland Islands to call you, the person who relayed that message, the Argentine who relayed that message. I don't know if you are hearing us or not, but I've been instructed to call you and ask you to repeat the message. Would you repeat the message that you just read to us?
It was a call to the authorities of the British colonial government of the Isla Malvinas from the Argentinian Armed Forces. It was a call to the authorities of the British colonial of the Isla Malvinas from the Argentinian Armed Forces.
Well, you can understand his panic here at the moment. We've just had a report in from a lady on Ross Road that a person is walking down Ross Road carrying a white flag, and that person is an Argentine Vice-Commodore Gilobert. We just had a report, and which we've passed to the Governor, that Vice-Commodore Gilobert, who, as you know, was here in the Falklands for 2 years, is walking down the front road at the moment, carrying a white flag, presumably heading for Government House. We don't know what's going to happen, but at least that looks a good sign anyway. I think we can now bring you what was said a short while ago on a frequency very close to ours. We can bring you, in fact, what the person said.
Boat on a rough sea.
From the Argentinian Armed Forces. It was a call to the authorities of the British colony, the Isla Malvinas, from the Argentinian Armed Forces.
Well, unfortunately, we haven't got what that call was. We haven't got what that call was. Perhaps we'll get it shortly.
Government in the Islas Malvinas. As you are seeing, and in order to fulfill orders from the Argentine government, we are here with a numerous task force. Principles, and for the purpose of avoiding bloodshed and property damage among the population, we hope that you shall act prudently. Our concern is for the welfare and safety of the people of the Malvinas. This was a message from the Argentine Armed Forces.
Well, we've been able to record that message from the Argentine Armed Forces, which I think you probably all heard there. Now, I have a report coming in from Jack Abbott, Mr. Jack Abbott of Stanley. He can see from his house some of the ships that are around. Mr. Abbott, would you go ahead? Go ahead, please.
Huh?
Go ahead.
Just from my front windows, there are two naval vessels just outside the entrance to the Narrows. There's a small, immediately opposite the entrance, there's a small naval corvette, and 200 yards to the right of that is nearly all of a large aircraft carrier.
Yes, okay, thank you. Bye. We've just had some little bit of news through, and I'm afraid some of it's bad news. The Argentine flag is now flying at Moody Brook, so Moody Brook has been taken, and the Argentine flag is flying there. And I understand that some of the Argentine intruders are visible now behind the houses at Racecourse Road. Just a minute, Vice-Commodore. Now, I have coming on the telephone Vice-Commodore Gilobert, who is going to relay a message. Vice-Commodore Gilobert, would you go ahead, please?
Okay.
Go ahead.
I am the Vice-Commodore Gilobert. I want to speak with the commander of the force. Yo soy el Vice-Commodore Gilobert y quiero hablar con el comandante de las fuerzas para, estoy con el vicegobernador.
Vice-Commodore, can you do it in English for us, please? Thank you.
I want to speak to the commander of the force because I am with the Mr. Bacon.
Mr. Dick Baker, yes.
We want to talk with the commander of the force. If he is listening me,
yes.
He can come to the town hall with a white flag.
Yes. Now, I understand, Vice-Commodore, that that message is really for the leader of the group who come in. Now, obviously, you would like to repeat that in Spanish so he can understand it, and we all understand that you would like to say it in Spanish. So please go ahead and relay that message again in Spanish.
Okay. Yo soy el Vice-Commodore Gilobert y estoy reunido con el vicegobernador en la estación de policía. Y ambos quisiéramos hablar con el comandante de las fuerzas. Si me está escuchando, propongo que nos reunamos frente del Town Hall frente de la iglesia, enfrente de la iglesia católica. Que venga con un hombre con bandera blanca.
Yes.
Hay absoluta garantía de respeto mutuo.
Yes? Is that the end of the message? Hello? Vice-Commodore, can I ask you, are you a part of the group who have come into the Falklands or not? No?
No, sir. And I will try to help all the people.
You had no knowledge that this group was coming into the Falklands this morning?
Pardon?
You had no knowledge that this group was going to invade the Falklands this morning?
I don't know where they are coming and who are they.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Vice-Commodore. You heard that message from the Vice-Commodore Gilobert, who many people here know, who was here for 2 years until the 2nd of February this year when he returned to Argentina. Everybody knows him and his family, I'm sure. And he has transmitted a message to the leader of the group, and he is carrying a white flag, and he wants to talk with the leader of the group who has come in to talk in the town hall in front of the Roman Catholic Church in Stanley, and he wants to talk, and he guarantees the safety of that person because he does not want to see this thing carry on. And you heard him say there that he had no knowledge of this invasion tonight. Now we have some very distressing news coming in from Mr. Tom Davies of Garston's Trials Unit. Mr. Davies, you're telling me your house is almost a wreck. Please, could you tell us what happened?
Well, my wife and I were lying on the floor in the bedroom, covered up with our quilt, fortunately, and there's one of these terrific bangs like Alistair was mentioning earlier on. And, well, things just started falling all around us, and water, because the water tank in the roof is burst, all the central heating is shot through. I don't know what to it. There's a fairly big crater out in the garden, and then there's another one through one of the rooms in the house here. We're standing in water because it's all running out everywhere. I've switched the water off now and turned the electricity off, but I think we could probably do with a bit of help sometime.
Tom, was anyone hurt in this incident?
What?
Has anyone been hurt?
No, fortunately we're just the two of us, we're both all right. We reckon we're jolly lucky, it's the place is, well, it's a wreck, it's a write-off, I think.
Jeez. Okay, Tom.
There's a gaping hole about 6 feet wide in the roof.
Sorry?
There's a gaping hole about 6 feet wide in the roof.
Oh my God.
Gone down right through one of our wardrobes, and well, we're paddling about in water here, and every single window is gone. Even glasses, cutlery in the kitchen and stuff like that is gone. I don't know how that happened. Must be a blast, I suppose.
Tom, which one do you live in up there on Davis Street? Is it
Number 2, the second one.
second from the far end?
No, the second from the near end.
Oh my God. The second from into Stanley? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Market used to be in the first, that's empty, and then we are the next, yes.
Can I interrupt, please?
Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Yeah. 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 Right, okay. What, do you want to speak to me? What, on the telephone? Okay. I understand the Argentine force, you're trying to contact the radio station. Would you go ahead? Over. Of the group, yes, I have received your message loud and clear. That is great news. That the commander of your group is now proceeding towards the Catholic Church in Stanley, where he is going to meet the Vice-Commodore Gilobert, and the representative of the government who is with him. You heard our previous message from the Vice-Commodore Gilobert. We have heard your message very clearly. You are going now, the leader of your group is now going to talk with him. That is great news. Thank you very much. Gentlemen, we have been in contact with the leader of the force, and I'm going to replay the message now. It's a bit of a gap because I have to transfer my leads on my plugs. There's no one else here. I have to transfer the plugs. Now I'm going to replay the message from the leader of the group, which he is directed to us. So just stand by.
Your message. The officer commanding of the force of disembarkment is coming on now to the Catholic Church to meet the people that you had suggested. I say again, accepting your requirement, the officer commanding of the force of disembarkment is coming up now to the Catholic Church, to the square near the Catholic Church, to meet the people that you had suggested. Please tell me if you had received my last one. Over.
Hello, Commander of the group. Yes, I have received your message loud and clear. That is great news. That the commander of your group is now proceeding towards the Catholic Church in Stanley, where he is going to meet the Vice-Commodore Gilobert and the representative of the government who is with him. You heard our previous message from the Vice-Commodore Gilobert. We have heard your message very clearly. You are going now, the leader of your group is now going to talk with him. That is great news. Thank you very much.
Radio Malvinas Radio, in Port Stanley, this is the Argentinian Army Force. It is correct, it is correct. We are waiting.
That was a replay of the conversation which I just recorded between the commander of the group, which has been directed to the Vice-Commodore Gilobert and Mr. Baker, who I understand is with the Vice-Commodore, and they are waiting at the Roman Catholic Church here in Stanley, not very far from the studio, as you know, by the town hall, where they're going to confer. That is a good step forward in the situation at the moment. Now, I think, just right now, I think we'll return to a little bit of music. Well, I've just had a call. There are many camp stations, Fitzroy, Green Patch and other places are reporting planes flying in. They're reporting planes flying in, which I think they were expected. But of course at this moment we are now awaiting the outcome of the conference. Well, now I'm going to tell you something about the weather. Yeah, don't be surprised. But I'm going to tell you that it's in Stanley here this morning. It's a beautiful morning. It's overcast, the clouds high. It's not a breath of fresh air. Very, very, well, there's some fresh air, but there's no wind. The air in the Falklands is always fresh, as you know. And it's quiet, and it's quite warm out. I just went out and had a quick look around. It's, well, an almost perfect day, I would say. Almost perfect. Somebody suggested to me yesterday it was an April Fool's joke, but I don't think it is. Okay, well, we're just waiting to see what the outcome of the mediation, I suppose we could call it. The conference is between the various parties now, and we just hope things are going to work out. And now we have another report in that a Hercules transport, Argentine Hercules, is now landing on the airstrip. The other armoured vehicles seem to be coming right into the town. Just had a call from a lady who said that Mr. George Lice has got bullet holes in his windows, but bits of wood chipped around, but unfortunately there's no one hurt. you know, it doesn't matter what happens in the Falklands. There's always a funny incident, something crops up. Just had a call from Mr. Marvin Clark. One of the armoured carriers is bogged. Would you believe it? It's bogged. And where is it bogged? It's bogged behind the powerhouse where the fuel tanks are. And he says about 15 men got out and trying to push the thing out. Now, here is the important message, the latest up-to-date situation as I have it from His Excellency the Governor. At this very moment, we have 5 people heading towards Government House to negotiate. They are Mr. Baker, the Chief Secretary of the Falkland Islands. We have an Admiral and 2 of his staff, and the Vice-Commodore Gilobert. I hope that makes 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that's right. Mr. Baker, an Admiral, 2 of his staff, and the Vice-Commodore Gilobert are heading towards Government House now to see the Governor and negotiate. I asked the Governor, is he going to surrender now? He said, he didn't mention the word surrender, he said he's going to negotiate. They're coming to negotiate. There was just a sporadic outburst of firing about 5 minutes ago. I don't know why it happened, what caused it to happen, but otherwise everything is quiet. We hope that it's going to remain that way. Mr. Charlie Jones just told me that there are 3 carriers around the low-level tank area on Brandon Road, and the people there, the people who've got out are just standing around at the moment. There is what we could call, I think, a ceasefire at the moment. Just a slight clarification there, I'm sorry, there is not a ceasefire, the Governor tells me. It's just that they're not going to fire at the 5 who are coming to Government House. If anyone else comes closer, the defending troops will fire. This is not, sorry, I made a mistake, it's not a ceasefire. We could call it a lull at the moment, and proceedings are about to take place. And one other report, Mr. Andy Brownlee tells me from Ross Guest House that an armoured personnel carrier with about 12 men has just gone up the front road. They stopped at the Fillmore store and had a look around. Dirtspec wasn't there to sell them anything, so they carried on. Anyway, that's the latest report from that area. We've just had a report in that there are about 25 to 30 men marching down the front road, passing the Beaver Hangar, presumably heading towards the centre of town. I don't know exactly where they're going. We just had that report in, and another report says that there was just an outbreak of firing along the Brisbane Road area, and but I don't know what caused that. Well, more reports of troop movements. There are seemingly five troops now around the post office area. They moved up towards the road, like seemingly they were following the delegation, and moved back down again. We've had some disturbing reports in that these people are entering houses. They've been reported entering houses on Davis Street and Ross Road. They're trying doors that are locked and other houses they're going into. But I've just had a report from a very responsible person who tells me that they went into his house on Ross Road and they inspected every room. They were very well behaved, very polite, looked around the room and walked out again without touching anybody or disturbing anything. So that is good news. So I think the best advice here is for anyone, if they come to your house, don't please resist. I'm saying this myself. I haven't instructions to say it, but don't resist. Let them walk around, look in your house, and if you've nothing to hide, well, then you've nothing to hide. I think that's the best way to approach this. Thank you. One further report in from Padre Bagnall. An armoured car has parked itself outside the telephone exchange, and an Argentine flag has now been hoisted on St. Mary's flagpole.
Earth, Greenwich Mean Time.
And we now join the BBC for the latest news.
Newsreel. The dramatic turn of events in the Falkland Islands, where there are fears of an invasion by Argentine forces. It's reported that every unit of the Argentine Navy is at sea and evidently heading towards the islands in the South Atlantic, which have been a British dependency since 1883. A short time ago, Britain's Deputy Foreign Secretary, Mr. Humphrey Atkins, made a special statement to the Commons about the Argentine threat.
Over the past 24 hours, the situation has become increasingly grave. There is now a real expectation that an Argentine attack against the Falkland Islands will take place very soon.
The Deputy Foreign Secretary, Mr. Atkins. Our political correspondent, Jeff Robertson, was in the press gallery of the Commons when Mr. Atkins made his statement. Here's his report.
The atmosphere in the House of Commons was very grave, and it was unusual to see the Prime Minister herself on the government front benches on a Friday morning. The Prime Minister having returned early from dining with the Queen at Windsor Castle. There was only one subject on the agenda, the report by the Foreign Minister, Lord Carrington, on the Falkland Islands. For Labour, Mr. John Silkin pledged the Labour Party's full support for the right of the people of the Falklands to remain British as they wanted to do. It was Britain's duty to defend them. But he suggested the government had misjudged the situation. Is it not a fact, Mr. Silkin declared, that whenever the tin-pot fascist junta that rules Argentina is in trouble at home, it threatens the Falkland Islands? Weren't the signs there to be seen some time ago? Mr. Humphrey Atkins made clear in reply to questions that up to a short time ago, 0930 GMT, there had been no invasion of the Falklands. The government was in touch with the Falklands governor. MPs pressed for a further statement later in the day if there were developments, and they received an assurance that, if necessary, there would be another statement. In the meantime, I understand the Prime Minister has cancelled her engagements and is remaining at her official London residence in Downing Street.
In Argentina itself, there were unconfirmed reports that the invasion of the Falklands was actually underway, but no official announcement had been made. Our Latin America correspondent, Harold Briley, who is now in Buenos Aires, says there was considerable military activity in the capital, with aircraft of the Argentine Air Force flying very low. Here's his report.
Some reports say troops have landed and are advancing from the airport, but there's no official confirmation. The invasion fleet was said to number several ships, the aircraft carrier, several destroyers and corvettes, and submarines. The only British Navy ship in the area patrolling off the Falklands dependency of South Georgia, 1,000 miles southeast of the main islands, was the ice patrol vessel Endurance, armed with only 2 light guns and 2 helicopters. But a powerful British fleet was said to have put to sea, headed by Britain's newest aircraft carrier Invincible, but with a long way to go.